big things in the application: monitoring, deployments, and actions. Within monitoring, the focus is more right now on metrics. Metrics and then monitors. So once I have that, we will first, get that going with the design. The team can start coding, and then in the meantime, I'll refine and finalize the ones that I already have for alarms and ticketing, and so then it will start flowing from a pipeline perspective.
Okay, I got it. So you expect it to start maybe iteration after next, or somewhere in December, probably.
Yeah, I mean, like next week, I plan to have next week 1 or 2 screens around metrics, and because we want to start coding on that. And these are complex screens, by the way. The team knows it. It's not just a simple screen. Each one of them has like 20,000 interactions going at the same time. There's a chart, there's lots of stuff going on. So the plan is right now to get to that level by next week. So we start coding. So
sure.
Around that time, I would say, expect the first one to come in, so to speak.
Okay, thank you for sharing this. That's it that I wanted to ask. Ratibor, maybe you wanted to ask something, or is there anything else, Dennis? Ratibor?
No, I don't have questions. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Dennis?
Nothing on this topic.
So what's Dennis? What about today's stand-up? Did it go as you expect?
Yeah, I think everyone did it great.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. So that's it from our side, Elaine.
Okay. All right. I mean, I do want the team to stay back because I wanted to discuss a few more stuff. So the stand-up part is over, but I want to walk them through like what is happening, why it is happening, etc. So we have some more work. So if you and Ratibor want to stick around, that's fine. If you want to drop off, feel free to drop off at any time. It's fine with me. Okay. So
okay. I'll disconnect the call. Then I have another call. So thank you, Eli. It was nice seeing you. Bye.
Okay. All right. So just to give you a sense about what are we doing right now. I mean, in a sense, again, you guys are my team. So Charles runs the back-end team. I run the front-end team, right? So you are the team, so to speak. You are my primary team as to how we will build the product on the front-end side. So what we are doing right now, if you are surprised saying, hey, what's going on? It's like one day we were looking at Matamo, and then now we are looking at Datadog and SignalFX and what's going on. In a sense, what is going on is we're trying to narrow down just the metrics and monitor part and say, okay, fine. If we are building this metrics and monitor, how do we compare to other players? And what are some of the interesting things or aspects that you see in other players that, if it would be cool if I could get this in Shoreline and, this from here in Shoreline. And so that is the exercise. And so the point is like, which are the players that are really interesting to us? There are 6 players which are interesting in the monitoring space. Datadog, SignalFX, SolarWinds, CloudWatch, which is from AWS, Nagios, and Prometheus/Grafana. I will send you in an email, the ones that as a team, it's like for all of us collectively, right? I mean, we are going to build this product, unlike the project thing that you probably have worked on more. So what I am looking for from you is we all become a little bit of an expert, and you help me also figure this product out together. So that's what we are doing right now in a classic startup fashion. And we are the goal right now is to look at what capabilities does Datadog have, what capabilities like each one of these 6 have, so that as we build our screens, we can say, you know what, SignalFX is much easier than Datadog. And I'll show you an example as to how how we are thinking through this. And let me share my screen and it will be easier. So Oops. Okay, this thing. Once you get used to working on a very big screen, it becomes a problem.
Okay.
Figuring out, I mean, I have like a huge monitor, and so all right, it's right here, right? Can you see my?
Yeah.
All right. So by the way, I'm also doing this exercise just like you guys are doing, just FYI. I'm looking at stuff also in parallel with you, but I mean, I'm doing it from a different perspective. But as I'm looking at this, I'll show you one thing for. If I go and say new detector from a chart, right? Signal FX. So one of the cool things here is this zoom out facility. This you see right here, this zoom thing, right? This is pretty cool. This is pretty decent. It doesn't look great right now, but let's say if I go to this chart. See, this is pretty interesting what you see right now. Like it's giving me a lot more detailed view, even though it has aggregated over time. See this, right? But the way this thing is set up right now, this looks so complicated compared to, let's say, if I just go to Datadog and I try to create a new monitor, right? Come on. A monitor and detector are the same thing. But you see here, if I just say, okay, fine, create a new metric monitor. This looks so much easier and simpler. And this is straight. But in essence, this is a much easier experience compared to what Signal FX. However, if I can bring that detail view right in here, it would be pretty interesting. If I can bring the detail view right here, you see what I'm saying? Into this experience, then this part is so easy and simple. So some of the stuff that that we are going through, that is where so that's the kind of thing that we were trying to, or I was asking your help to do that. So when I looked at creating that Datadog thing, so here's a so what I was trying to get to with this Datadog was each and every screen that I have, like there's a metrics explorer, right? If I go one level up, this is how I started looking at stuff. So I said, fine, Datadog metrics. If I take a screenshot, it gives me metrics explorer summary docs. Okay, fine, I get that. And then within metrics explorer, I have a main screen which looks like this. Then the graph options are this. So walking through this, and there is a whole set like this. If I go through, just follow through that. So this one is interesting, right? When I'm typing in Datadog with the graph, it does auto selection or auto search and filtering right there inline very quickly. That was a good one, good experience there. When I add 2, it looks like this. Matrix Explorer, I can select over, so that is the grouping part. So where I was trying to go with this was the exercise that I wanted to do or get done was exactly that, which is walk through this experience in little details and capture what is the essence, and try to do it for SignalFX as well as Datadog as well as Prometheus and Prometheus/Grafana and SolarWinds and CloudWatch and all. Nagios has a very crappy experience. Have you guys seen Nagios at all? I'll show you. It looks like this. Oh, why does it say no internet? This is Nagios. So this is my local host in there, and okay, this is critical. I see like what? Okay, it's enabled. There are active checks. There are okay. This so this is Nagios, and this is Nagios core. That is like the lower version, but I can also do Nagios 11, which is supposed to be the little better one. And in this, the best case, what can I see? I can look at service, technical, home dashboard, all service problems. And I go into port 10 status. This is for the CentOS Nagios local switch. I got no graphs, nothing happening. I mean, this is like really a very poor man's thing. Compared to like Datadog or compared to SignalFX or even like this is cool, or even Grafana. I don't have this thing populating right now for the Sandpiper. This is the Sandpiper thing that we had just built, public CloudWatch kind of a thing. But in essence, what I was getting to was for all this, one of the things what we wanted to do was have a full set of screens, in pretty decent detail, so that we can go through. How do I go back to? Okay, I'm going to turn this off. All right, I found the window. Okay, and I can say. So. I think the screenshots that we got for Datadog and SignalFX, they were pretty close. I want them to be filled out with some of the missing pieces that we have. Now that you know a little bit about what kind of exercise we are doing. Does that make sense? I think Ivan, Vlad, you did that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Does this make sense? Did you see like what I was trying to get to?
Yes, it makes sense. I understand.
Okay. If you have any questions, definitely ask me. I mean, this should not be one way. I mean, we're all now in this together, right? You are my team, and so in that sense, ask me any question. If you have any doubts, definitely ping me, etc. Let me show you something else also. So here's the. So this is the metrics part, right, that I was building out, but there is monitors. One of the other things, what I meant by splash, it's not manage, but that's a new monitor. The splash screens that I talked about was, Vlad, you gave me this screen, right? You gave me here. One of the things like this part. What I wanted was for host, we take the full thing. So in essence, I go like this, and I can Command Shift 4, and I take this entire screenshot. I take it for a metric. I mean, this whole, like for each and every one, these are called the splash screens. See the ones, I wanted like the screenshots for all. And why did we want to capture it? In some sense, we also want to make sure that our functionality is as complete, so to speak, and we are covering all aspects around monitoring out there, or we can do a benchmark as to how or where we are good versus anyone else. And I need your help as you are looking through this. I also want you to look at stuff which is interesting, which pops up as you are. So I'll show you. I'll show you something. When I was capturing these screenshots, see, this is an interesting thing. Randomly at times. Now, if you happen to see, it doesn't necessarily have to be always, but randomly at times, you see these two graphs. There is some kind of a problem here. This is actually a graph here, and it, it's like this is the issue with their. This is the issue with not here. Too many windows open. See, I am having a problem right here. No, this was the screenshot. But when I was doing it, it just collapsed. There was some kind of aha right here. There are actually two graphs. If you play with it, you see that. And I don't want to create. It will take some time. System delete. System load one. System CPU idle. Fine. I will do it. See, there are two graphs, up and down, and somehow the top graphs were actually running into some issues. When I was playing around with this feature, intermittently at times I would notice that these two graphs, if I click on rewinding, like, every 60 minutes go back and see, it was actually getting into trouble. There was something which was getting screwed up, and it was collapsing like this. If you notice anything like this, see this on this screen? Right here, these two graphs. If you notice things like this, it would be interesting to just point out also. Not that we are trying to debug, we are not trying to debug or find problems in Datadog's application, but if what I was trying to get to is anything that you like. It's like if you see something and say, I really like this, this is awesome, how they do this. Those are the things that I'm also looking for. Not just, I'm not looking at you to just do like a simple, screenshot grab and things like that, right? Just that is part of the job. But I want you, you are my senior developers, you are my team. So I want your opinion also, things that you like, you don't like, what was really not good. I want you to be thinking as you are going through this exercise, right? So, and then just by the way, when I have this screen, right? Let's say once we are done with the screen and you start seeing the screens, One of the things is if you get ideas or if you get, if you have thoughts about saying, why not just put it this way or that way, I do want you to also bring that up. You're not just coding for me, you are my team. So that's the thought process, that's the mental model I want you to be in as you are going through this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's now clear. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Yeah, because I wanted to make that very, saying, hey, okay.
I have one question. May I ask? Have you already write down that features you liked to some notes? Have you?
I have some. I don't have a lot because I haven't started going into the details of it. Like, so one example I know that I like is this zoom thing in Signal FX, which if I can imagine, I did not like the way a detector gets created in Signal FX. The way the detector gets created in Signal FX.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's like, hey, I got kids too. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So the experience in Datadog is awesome. It's very simple. I mean, if you try to create a monitor in Datadog, it's very simple. It lays out on the screen. I can see what's happening. I can understand it. If I just look at the screen in Signal FX, the first thing I think is, oh my God, this is freaking complicated. Let me go get a coffee and then sit down with a cool mind to go through this. Datadog is not intimidating that way, right? I don't get afraid when I see that screen. I mean, so those are the things, the nuances that I like. I haven't written down everything, but like I'll tell you, Nagios, forget about Nagios. It's really bad, right? I mean, it's for you. You gotta be like a rocket engineer, and you need to know all the system admin stuff, etc., etc. One of the things that we want to build or we are building is it should be very visual and it should be very easy to set up. I mean, and I always say this, like my mom should be able to do it, and it's like I don't think she would be able to doing it, but it's like it should be that simple. We would like to get that experience for our users, yeah. And at the same time, if they want to use the power, they can also use it through CLI. If they say, I don't like these buttons and graphs and charts and everything, they are free to use the CLI and write the commands and do it. That's their personality. But we do want to help users. Like one of the issues that is happening is if you know the DevOps space, we are catering more to the ops side rather than the dev side, to be clear. And in DevOps world, there are two people who come into the ops side. Either you are an SRE, like a site reliability engineer, which have been typically like system admin guys, and so they understand bash scripts, they understand pipe command, they understand, or they are very comfortable with terminal kind of experience. But many times even devs are involved in the ops because of DevOps model. For example, at AWS, there is no admin, there is no site reliability engineer. Developers are responsible for coding, for testing, for deploying, and for operating. They answer the page. Like there is no tester in AWS. There is no ops in AWS. I mean, for generally most, I mean, there might be few ops guys here and there who might specialize in certain aspect, but in general, there is no, as a developer, you are responsible. Not all developers are equally comfortable, working in bash scripts and stuff like that. So what we want is to have a very nice experience for anyone, whether you are an SRE or you are a developer. So that's why I like Datadog, like versus Nagios or some other. Like Nagios is one end, which is really crappy. I mean, it's even ugly. I have lots of problems. It's not beautiful. I mean, it should be nice to see. It should be beautiful to look at it. Nagios is just plain ugly, unfortunately. So what we want is something nice looking and a very good experience. Signal FX is beautiful. It's nice looking, but it's not an awesome experience. It's intimidating. So you see where I'm going to. I I have a lot of these opinions and things, that I have gone through as I've played with it, but I also want yours. So long answer, but that's where I am right now. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I understand.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, the exercise that we are doing right now, and it's like I'm very happy, by the way, with the turnaround that we had with the SignalFX and Datadog. And now, I mean, and I'll upload some of this. I'll upload all these files. Actually, you can. I'm not sharing the screen right now. There should be like a simple button which quickly allows me to do it. But I'll upload all these screens again to the same shared drive where you have put in the Datadog thing, just so that you can see what I'm, like you can compare or contrast, or you have an idea. You know what I mean? But what I wanted to do was finish the SignalFX and the Datadog screens and update them to the way that I'm laying it out. Are you familiar with Prometheus and Grafana?
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit.
Yeah.
One of the other things, the SolarWinds and Prometheus/Grafana are the two other ones that I wanted to get done. Nagios we have installed. I mean, it's all, by the way. Do you have access to the AWS infrastructure of Shoreline?
No,
I
don't think so.
You can check. Can you see my screen, by the way? You can see my screen. Okay. So if you go, I'm just showing you. Come on. If you go to Gmail, within Gmail, if you go down here and you look at more, you will see this AWS, and it is all connected.
Guys, anybody has it?
Yeah, I have it.
Can you guys see it?
Oh, it's under more button.
No, I know, but I don't have it.
You don't have it. If you click on here and if you go more,
AWS says me that your request included an invalid SAML response. So I think.
Okay. Can you send me a screenshot, or can you share so I can see? I'll ask Willie to check why. I mean, I want you guys to. I mean, you should be having the AWS, access to Shoreline's AWS infrastructure also. I'll talk to Willie. If you don't have it, send. Okay.
Can you see it now?
Request included an invalid SAML. Where did it go?
Oh, just.
I mean, I think I saw a flash of it which said your request included an invalid SAML. If you can send me a screenshot, that will be great. And if everybody does not have access, let me know. Then I'll ask Willie to look into it. So all of us, everyone should have access to it, right? So we should be able to load up servers and install servers and do all the fun stuff. So
I have just checked it and I see the same as Dennis.
okay.
The same error.
Yeah. I have sent a screenshot to Discord chat.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right. Yeah, so that's okay. I'll ask Willie to look into it, and if possible, we'll just get we'll get this thing done for everyone tomorrow. Because one of the things that I wanted to get done was also SolarWinds and Prometheus / Grafana. And Prometheus / Grafana would require installation of a server on create an EC2 instance, install a Prometheus server, and then install a Grafana server and do it. I do have it. I do have I showed you, right? I mean, we have installed Grafana and Prometheus because that's where I was showing you the screenshot. But unfortunately, that thing is locked right now. And I wanted because it was used for something else. So I want our team to also just have their own setup, their own infrastructure. So we can play with it, we can do whatever we want, etc. Which is why once I get you the access, we install Prometheus, we install Grafana, and we can start. And then also there are 2 instances that have been set up in EC2 itself, where we are collecting this signal FX and Datadog and other metrics that I was showing you. We can put in Prometheus also, and then everybody sees the same infrastructure and instances and everything. So, all right, but SolarWinds. So if you guys are not familiar with SolarWinds, I would say definitely log into SolarWinds, and just like Signal FX, we should create a set of these screens for SolarWinds also. And so SolarWinds has, just like Motomo, it also has like a download server, and it also has a product which is a SaaS service. You just create an account for the SaaS service. So it's got a very different way, but there is basically this server and application monitoring. That's the one. They have this free trial, but I will send you the online. Where is the online?
There were a button for interactive demo.
Yeah, but there is an online thing. Where is it? This guys have too much. Yeah, I mean, I see this interactive demo. Axios. I'll find out. I'll send you that.
Okay.
I'll send you. Yeah. I want to do the same exercise for SolarWinds as we did for, as we are doing, and then we'll update for Datadog and Signal FX. So then we are benchmarking, SolarWinds, Signal FX, Datadog. I have stuff for CloudWatch, so I can always put in there. In fact, I'm thinking what I'll do is also there are tons of. I'll upload screenshots. Yeah, I'll upload some screenshots also that I have. That was about it primarily. Give me 1 second so I can. Anything else on my list? Yeah, that's about it. So, okay. All right. So, any questions from you first before I basically say let's call it a meeting.
I don't.
Evgeny?
I understand we should just add this SolarWinds system to existing Datadog and Signal Facts and do the same, just collecting screenshots from.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically just once we are done with the call, what I'll do is I'll upload some of the like the screenshots and the structure of screenshots the way I was hoping we lay it out. So if there is anyone, somebody new, let's say Anurag or Ratibor or anyone coming in, they can follow through saying, oh, this is screen one, screen, and it's already done, by the way. So not a lot of change, but it was already there. We just lay it out and finish it properly, because like I also wanted like the splash screens, as I was showing that. You remember the splash screens?
Yes.
Yeah. So we capture all of those, because then we have a full capture of saying, okay, this is all the things that they can do, and we can check mark, tick mark for our application also, saying, yeah, we do all the stuff. And while we are doing it, I want you guys to be thinking about what do you like or not like. I want your opinions. I want that thought process. It's not just a brainless screen capture. The real thing that I want you guys to be doing is thinking through, seeing what you like, what you don't like. And we do that for SolarWinds. We haven't attempted it, so we do it for SolarWinds. And we finish it up for Nagios and not Nagios, Datadog and SignalFX. We are not doing it for Nagios for now. And Prometheus, Grafana, wait to hear from me, because you don't have access to the AWS infrastructure. I'll talk to Willie tomorrow, and we'll see how to get you guys access to it, because then we'll have to install Prometheus and install Grafana and then take some screenshots of it. That would be a much simpler exercise, because all Prometheus and Grafana does is you install Prometheus server, you put a Prometheus agent on one of the EC2 instances, and then when you connect the Grafana dashboard to it, it automatically just sucks in all the metrics and creates the dashboard for you. It does not really do any, it's not a monitoring tool. It's not going to alarm. We're not going to set, other stuff like that. So that's going to be a much simpler exercise for us. So, okay.
So I was checking my list. So again, done with Motama migration from cloud to on-prem of info. Charts library, we can go with high charts, okay, with pricing. And yesterday you sent us a message that you're going to share a system reference document. So
yeah, that system. I'll send that. I need to talk to Charles about it, but I will send you that. That's okay for next set of work or the immediate things that we want to do. The system doc is not that important in that sense for the next few days of work that we need to do. So just to give you an idea about how I'm thinking about this. So there are like the way I'm thinking about it is there are different clusters of work. I mean, of course, the first one is the screens, that we need to write, but there is a whole, code around it. But there is a whole set of other stuff that we have been doing it from different angles. All those classify under like what exactly are we trying to do? We are trying to think about or develop some requirements, identify different options, have a recommendation, and finalize what we want to do. Just this clickstream part, by the way, we finished that. We said, okay, fine, we want to look at all different options. We finalized in Matamo. We look at a transition plan from a simpler version of online to then on-premise, etc. There's a whole set of other stuff around logs, log management, localization, testing frameworks, using the headless Chrome from Google, etc. And then with UI components, the ones which I think right now, like we did it with charts already, but there's date picker, there is notebook-like interface that we want to develop. There's a whole set of all these different clusters of work that is going to come about. But we are focusing more right now on we are first focusing on this metrics and monitoring aspects of it. We get to that, and then at some point in future, these other aspects of let's do research on this and finalize. Let's do research on that and finalize. Integrate into our screens, etc. That's going to come.
I have a small question.
Yeah.
You mean monitoring with alerting, yeah?
Pardon me?
When you talk about monitoring, you mean monitoring with alerts, right? Where we can set alerts. No?
No, I didn't. I didn't understand. Like sit with Alex.
In Datadog, we can see dashboards and monitoring, right? And if you have dashboards, we have there only time series, graphs, and other things. In monitoring, we have alerts, and we can set alerts. So when you talk about monitoring, you mean monitor with alerts, right?
Okay, so I see what you're. So monitoring. So good question, and let me share my screen again because it was right in there. So these are the, you probably read my mind, but in essence, when we think about monitoring, the big parts around monitoring are, set up and install, metrics, and the whole graphs and charts around metrics, viewing metrics, etc. And then monitors. Monitors are basically the setting up of the alerts, right? You say, okay, fine, for this metric or for this bunch of metrics over this host, monitor this threshold or monitor an anomaly or monitor an outlier. So that's, and then there's, once something goes off, alarming and ticketing. These are the big modules, so to speak, around monitoring itself. Each one of them can, and then there will be some kind of dashboards also involved where, but I'm not considering that as part of monitoring. That's part of overall Shoreline system where we have the our dashboards would include deployments and actions and monitoring and everything. So if I come to Shoreline application, right, the web app, and I log in, I would say, hey, what's going on in my world? And I can see, oh, you got 20 deployments going on today. There are 5 alarms which are on fire for you. And oh, by the way, last night we took care of 20 alarms through our automated repair. I mean, there is like a dashboard kind of a thing which gives you everything about your world. So what we are building is a little more bigger than, for example, what Datadog does today, because they don't do deployments and they don't have any automated remediation and action. So our dashboards will be a little more broad, but in essence, you are right. There are dashboards, which is a separate part. And then for each of the 3 things, we have set up and install, metrics, monitors, alarms and ticketing in monitoring.
Okay, thanks. Now I got it.
Okay, and about some dates. So as I see, we are going to research for screens of all systems, for UI components, etc. And I think it will be for next couple of weeks, and only in the beginning of December we will start building first prototypes. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, hopefully even before that.
Even before? Great.
Yeah, no. It's so right now I want to get a start. I mean, so I want to finish this metric exercise. So in essence, we collect all the stuff around metrics and say, yeah, we know these 6 targets that we have. We are as good or better or whatever across these 6 targets, and we provide all the features, and we are feature complete, etc. And we have the screens, and we start working on those right away. It's not 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out. It's by next week, hopefully we should be, I'm hoping we get into that stage, or we should be getting into that stage. So yeah,
Okay.
We'll start coding soon, or we have to.
Great, yes. And I think the last, it wasn't in the list, about Monday call. So when it's Monday morning on our side, it's Sunday night on your side. So do you want to have a call on your Sunday night, or you can start from Monday, your Monday?
Because we have these open items around Prometheus and Access and everything for you, let's tentatively keep the Monday timing for 7. Do you want to start Monday at 6:30? What time did you prefer? 6:30, right?
No, 7 p.m.
Do you want to keep Monday 7 p.m. or 6:30?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 7
Yeah.
p.m. 7 p.m. Yeah. So let's do Monday, like Sunday 7 p.m. my time, and Monday your time 7 p.m. If there are any changes or anything, I'll put the message into Discord.
Yeah, and also I want to move big part of conversation to chat or to emails. So in this case, we don't have to wait for a call to discuss something. It might be done.
Yeah, Discord, email, let's get that thing going. Some of the stuff, I'm calling this stand up right now, but for last, this entire week, we are having long stand-ups. It's like we're having one hour plus, and the reason for that is there are 2-3 things, right? One is there is a lot of stuff that I need to transfer to you, and it's much easier and better if we have a conversation. You can ask me questions rather than me sitting down and writing long emails, right? Because if you can ask questions, that's even better, which is why I'm spending also a lot of time on the calls, so I can answer the questions. The second is also, I want all of us to be on the same page on the, what is the expectation and what is the working style. Because as I said, you guys are actually, you are employees of Aspirity, but you are working for Shoreline, which is a startup. So it's a very different mentality, where in a classic startup, hey, we need to get this thing done. Then we just jump on it and we get that thing done. And it's not as if, I only do coding or I only do that. I do everything over here, and I expect all of you also to be doing, and you guys are doing it, okay? So, but that's the thing that I want all of us to be doing. And hopefully that's a little bit of a different experience. And you guys also enjoy. If you're not enjoying this part and you don't like this kind of a startup experience and you prefer give me 20 screens, give me a timeline as to when I need to deliver, tell me what to use, tell me what not to use, tell me where to log in, tell me do this. If you want that kind of experience, then let me know upfront, because this is purely not going to be like that, as clear cut and dry, like a big project. This is a startup. You guys are part of the startup, and you guys are part of my team. So we are going to do this together in this manner. So I just want all of us also to be mentally, it's like you get, quite honestly, a lot of people that I know, at least in US, they die for this kind of experience. They don't never get that. So hopefully you enjoy it and you like this part. But if you don't, let me or Alex or Ratibor know. So because this is going to be a little different compared to if you're not worked in a startup environment, it will be a little bit different compared to other experiences that you have had. So I'm spending all this time also just to make sure that all of us feel comfortable with that.
Okay, thank you for that.
I'm sure
Right.
the team want to make contribution in Shoreline project.
I know, I'm glad. You guys, now seriously, I know Dennis was feeling that, say, we are not doing it quickly enough, etc. But there will be time when there will be we'll be going at 200 miles an hour speed.
Just
right now, the whole focus is on do the research, get the benchmarking done, collect all this information, get the best practices, get the things that you like and not like, and you have an opinion, which is why I was asking you to tell me, saying, I don't want you to be just taking screenshots. I want your opinion. I think each one of you on the team is highly capable and can think through and smart, right? So I want your brain power there. I don't want a robot doing the work. So that's why so that's the thing which we are trying to achieve here. So makes sense?
sure.
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so I think we don't have anything for today.
Yeah. So what I'll do is, I think I already showed you what you want, but I need to finish up a couple of other things. Once I have it, I'll upload the Datadog stuff to the extent that I can I can complete within certain time. I'll have to leave soon. It's I got a 1 hour drive anyway. So, but continue. Next step, finish SignalFX and Datadog the way we discussed, and also SolarWinds. I'll send you that link before I go. The SolarWinds part. So.
Okay, great. It's already Friday on our side, so next call will be next week then.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll send you chat message or email if we find some numbers.
All right. Yeah. Send me. You can feel free to reach out to me anytime over chat or email or anything.